Welcome everyone to another mindful walk. In today's walk we'll be visiting a forest from the game Fortnite. Although the visuals in this are buffered by the Unreal 5 engine, so if you're wondering why this ain't your granddaddy's Fortnite, that's why. The whole purpose of these videos is to take fast-paced games and slow them down, as oftentimes there are things that we miss in the present moment, especially as our mind races to the future or dawdles on memories from the past. So as we walk, try your best to bring your focus to what you're seeing before you and take in the scenery to the maximum. Let's get started. To start, observe the petals falling from the sky. See how they fall at their own pace and in many different directions, as well as the variety of different colors that we can see in the surrounding leaves as well as the trees. Your eye might be drawn to the light in the distance. Just focus on one particular detail as we walk. There's similarly features such as a little birdhouse, as well as a lantern that seems to have attracted some bugs. If we take a bit of a closer look, we can see the activity around the lantern. This might have been something that we would have just rushed on past, but when we stop and look at it, there's a lot that we can focus on. And take a few moments just to see what stands out for you. As we walk, just direct your attention to the floor and notice what stands out for you. You may notice a variety of different plants, flowers, and even sticks and stones that litter the ground. A surprising level of detail can be found when we look. Spend some time noticing some of the details that we can see on the statue, as well as some of the shadows that are formed from the light source to the left. Your eye might also be drawn to some of the surrounding flowers, or even the sword to the right. Find something that catches your attention and spend a few moments just focusing on the detail before you. As we continue our walk into the deeper part of the forest, we can see a waterfall in the distance. Just notice the majesty of this overall scene. When we stop and look around and just look below us, it's surprising what we can find. And as we can see here, there seems to be a series of interesting fireflies swirling about. Similarly, the detail on the water below, the varying shades of blue, as well as the reflections from those nearby light sources. Just spend a few moments just really taking in the scene before you. If you notice your thoughts going to other places, just give yourself a pat on the back for noticing and gently draw your attention back to what we're seeing now. As we carry on, just find something that catches your eye best in this next scene. There's a variety of things, but I will guide you through watching the waterfall. That doesn't mean you have to stick with that the next time you watch this, but for now, let's draw our eye to the flow of the water. Just notice how it travels and how the light seems to kind of fluctuate with its fall. Also going to notice the leaves as well as the wildlife traveling in and out of it. And similarly how it's darker towards the lower end, lighter at the top, and a little bit mistier towards the bottom. As we continue our walk, just notice the varying lights in the distance, particularly the amber light to our right. We're going to walk a bit closer to this and take a closer look, but just notice how it changes as we approach it. We can see the swirling of light, as well as the particles traveling in between the leaves. Suddenly they seem to illuminate different parts of the branch as they travel upward and down. Just notice the little particles between them, as some of them are larger and smaller than the others. Now as we continue on, we can see some light coming through the opening in the brush. Another statue that's been illuminated, this time from a different angle and in a different position. There's almost a bit of a sheen or reflection coming off the stone of that statue. Similarly, just the pathway we're walking on now, the different kind of cracks and creases embedded in the stone, as well as the varying rocks that we would walk over. Just take note of the surroundings as we walk deeper into the forest. You might even notice your mind beginning to wonder what's to come next. That's alright, but try your best just to direct it back to what we're seeing in the here and now. As we go deeper into the forest, just spend some time noticing the plants and the level of detail that can be found whilst looking at them. So notice the different shades of green, as well as some of the colors that come with the flowers. There's also a variety of different reflections as the light hits it. As you observe, you may even notice some of them moving, as if stirred by the wind. These plants can be a lot like thoughts, often kind of moving around and rustling and making a lot of noise in the background, but when we really stop and look at them, we can see what's creating the noise, as well as how prickly these leaves might be. Perhaps they're actually a lot less intimidating in appearance when we take a look at them. Now as we venture down, we see a giant dragon emerge. Just notice your initial reaction to seeing this. It might be one of wonder, might be one of fear, or even excitement. As we get closer, just continue to take in some of the different lights and surroundings that we can see. And suddenly notice the appearance of the dragon as we get closer and closer. As we take a look at the overall scene, there's a few things that can be spotted, from the bird posts to the lanterns to even a mind format avatar hiding in a bush. Let's take a closer look at the water. We can see that it changes in color, also reflects light differently as we go deeper. The wolves also stir and kind of motion backwards and forth. much like emotions and thoughts. If we just leave them be, they tend to look at us every now and then kind of go about their own business. Now if we shift and take a look at the dragon, and just see how it appears. Notice the color of green on its scales, and how this tends to transition to a more yellowy gold color. Also how there is red protrusions from the upper back, and similarly some of the unique features from its face. Let's notice this for a few moments. And as it departs, just notice what we're left with. This egg that's opened up, and the gold shimmer of the pedestal. Similarly, the lights kind of traveling around it, giving life to the surroundings. Also the coin as it rotates, reflecting light with each rotation. And as we begin to look beyond the pedestal, just notice the trees in the background. Notice how the different kind of leaves grow into the bark of the tree and the transition in color. Similarly, the plants in the background and how they seem to kind of paint a wall of leaves. Now as we travel even further out and take a bit of a look at where we once were. So notice how when we do step out and take a look at things with a different perspective, we can notice a lot more things in our environment. Thank you very much for coming along on this walk today. I hope it was helpful. And if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And similarly, if you haven't, all subscribers are welcome. And if you have any comments as to what kind of videos you'd like to see next, please do throw those into the comments, as I do read all of them. And as always, stay formatting.